This video covers the review for Math 70 pretest. Problems 4, 5, 6, and 7. Factoring. Factoring is a process of writing expressions as a product. When factoring, the first thing we look for is a greatest common factor. In number 4, both of our terms are divisible by 2 and x. So we factor that out by dividing each term by 2x. When I divide 2x to the 5th by 2x, I'm left with x to the 4th. When I divide 162x by 2x, I'm left with 81. Now we look and see what we have left over. The 2x is a greatest common factor that gets factored out, and x to the 4th minus 81 is a difference of 2 squares. Difference of 2 squares, you take their square roots and you subtract them and you add them, and that's their factorization. So the square root of x to the 4th is x squared, 81 is 9. So we're going to subtract those and add those. X squared minus 9, that's another difference of squares. X plus 3 and x minus 3. X squared plus 9 is a sum of 2 squares, and the sum of 2 squares is always irreducible or unfactorable or prime. We always say that a squared plus b squared is prime. So we get 2x times x plus 3 times x minus 3 times x squared plus 9. Number 5, we look for a greatest common factor first, and everything is divisible by 3y. When I factor the 3y, I'm left with x cubed minus 27y cubed. In number 4, we had perfect squares. In number 5, we have cubes. There's a formula for factoring difference of cubes that goes a cubed minus b cubed equals a minus b times a squared plus ab plus b squared. So just like in number 4, we had to take square roots, in number 5, we have to take cube roots. So the two terms are x, because that's being cubed, and 27 is 3 cubed, and y cubed is the cube of y. Those are our two pieces. So we're going to put these into the formula a minus b, so that would be x minus 3y. And then we're going to square the x. We're going to take the product of the x and the 3y. And we're going to square the b, which is 3y squared, or 9y squared. And we can't forget the GCF in front. Number 6, we look for a greatest common factor. Everything is divisible by 4. They all have an x on them, and that's all we can take out. Dividing everything by 4x leaves us with y squared minus 5xy plus 6x squared. Here we're looking for two numbers whose product is 6 and whose sum is -5. -2 and -3 are those two numbers that give us 6 and add to -5. So we factor this as y minus 2x and y minus 3x. Number 7, the greatest common factor of all three terms is 1, so we have nothing to factor out. So we do the same kind of process as in number 6, and we take 5 times 6 is 30 to get negative 17. Product of two numbers that's 30 that adds to negative 17 is going to be negative 2 and negative 15. For this one, we go back and we replace the negative 17xy with negative 2xy and negative 15xy. And now we factor by grouping. From the first pair, we factor out an x, and that leaves us with 5x minus 2y. From the second pair, we factor out a 3y, and we're left with 5x minus 2y. When you produce the same binomial twice, you know that you've done this correctly. We factor that out to the right-hand side, 5x minus 2y, and we're left with x minus 3y. And this concludes the video for problems 4, 5, 6, and 7 for the Math 70 pretest.